getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nurov in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is... Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
coming down.
Does he have it? Oh, look at Johnson! He haven't got it! He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's gonna do it. Big Barry!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, well, what is going to be a fantastic night of racing. We have some incredible cars to go around the track tonight, so looking forward to seeing what's going to be out there tonight for these guys that are on track at the moment. There we go, we'll get your race information up here. Now, as you can see, we are at Lime Rock Park. Lime Rock Park is a wonderful track. There's not so many heavy turns, shall we say, on this course, but there certainly is going to be fun with the cars that we have on the track today. We do have a decent sized grid out tonight. This is a new league. It's a fun league and it's open to all, so do get yourself involved if you can. Jump in the Discord and throw your iRacing ID in there so we can get you into the league. But it's free for all and open to all, and well, after the media day we span 2 random wheels, and the random wheels came up with Lime Rock Park with the Ford Legends, so that is what we're doing today. There's going to be a lot of tight contests out there today, it has to be said, but looking forward to seeing what is up for, well, everyone that's out there tonight. Looking forward to seeing how this goes for those that are involved. We get qualifying underway. Now, this is the start. This is the first round. This is for points. So there are going to be some tight battles, I imagine. And this is where things really start to heat up in this league as well. So looking forward to seeing what will happen tonight. I have heard a few different things from different drivers that are out there tonight. The racing line trying to let me in. I applied. Okay, have a little look, shall we? Jack Johns, there we go. You have been accepted, sir, so hopefully it will let you in. Not too sure if it will or not, because we are into qualifying, but welcome in all. Like I said, we do have a slightly smaller grid. Currently got 11 cars out on track at the minute. It is an open qualifying session. 12 minutes of qualifying time to set, well, the best lap we possibly can. The tyres get warm pretty quick from what I've heard. You know, we've got some noticeable names in there. We've got some names that you will recognise. Scott Kostrick from the Tanso Racing Group. You've got Dan Mould, Aaron Smith up there, Craig Walters, Anna McCain, Steve Woodcock, Chris Barnes, Dan Wareham, Deck Crowther, Fraser Garrity, and there's other people that are coming in now. Patrick Thompson is quite a bit off the pace, but probably having a nice sort of warm-up lap. And yeah, as these cars go around, we're in for, well, quite a treat tonight. Well, I believe we have 16 cars in total for tonight's race, which is always nice to see. But 4 minutes into the qualifying session, as it stands, Aaron Smith is currently the quickest car out there on track. This one will be fun. This will indeed. Possibly a lot of chance for, or a large chance for a lot of carnage tonight, but don't forget, at the end of the broadcast, as always, we will have the mighty wheel spins to decide what happens on the next round of racing for these guys in the Fun Run Cup. Now, the FRCC is new to the JPB Broadcasting channel. It's the first ever time it's been on here. It's the first ever session of the first ever league. So this is where things could go very well, very wrong, but this is where things start to get interesting. You know, points on the board, and with such, should we say, slidey cars for the opening round, it's really gonna, I would say, set the pace a bit, but I wouldn't really call it setting the pace. I'd say it's just going to be a bit difficult to get points on the board nice and early for those quick runners that are used to higher grip cars. And one person that is really thriving in these cars at the minute is Aaron Smith, the second. He's going around quickest at the moment with a 1 minute 2.4. So Aaron Smith, the quickest as it stands, and it'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to maintain that through the race with the pressure in the mirrors, and one large mirror you have in the middle, and then one just off to the right, because obviously these are normally around oval tracks, so it's not normal for these to be on normal European road tracks. Nevertheless, we have done it. We have brought them to a road track, so they're going to have to get used to it, and there's a bit of carnage there, and this is one thing with open qualifying. Crashes can happen, and there you go. There's evidence of one, Mr. Aaron Smith having to go to the pits in the end. You've got Patrick Thompson currently just up and off track, but he's currently in P2, the car number 2 there, so his car number's bang on with where he is on the grid at the minute, which is always nice to see in a way for a car that doesn't have anything digital on it. The car number being exactly where they are makes it a bit easier for me in the booth. Oh, look, there's P2, so that's easy to spot, but that's just another little random thing that I will go off about. But as it stands at the moment, there's not much between P1 and P2. Dan Mould just 1/10 away off the times there for the top two, so it's still pretty close between all these guys as it stands, but we still, well, we've just gone past the halfway mark in our qualifying session. As you can see, you can really tell from the car design that these are meant for ovals as they're all coming down the straight, but these should be nice, nice racing tonight, and also carnage at the same time. It was all about fun, so this may not be the cleanest thing you've seen in the world, but I tell you what, it will probably be one of the most fun things you've watched today. So, yeah, hopefully you all enjoy, but you can see how close the times are, how close these vehicles are. You know, you don't have to be an alien at iRacing to drive these things at similar pace to some of the quickest. You know, it is just about throwing the car in and trusting the car a bit more than what you normally would or what you expect to. And these things can handle quite well, even when they do get maybe a wheel or two on the grass. It depends on when you do. If you do it while turning, obviously it's not good, but on the straights, you know, if you line yourself up for a wide entry on a corner like number 8 car is there, gone wide, and unfortunately he stays wide as we see him just go off in the background there. Number 8 being Steve Woodcock, who's gone into the pits, I believe. So yeah, they can get a bit loose, but other than that, they are beautiful cars to race around, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys can do when we get into the racing session, which isn't too far away as it stands. Now remember, this is a fun league. This is open to everyone, free to race in as well, so if you want to get involved, jump in, get yourself involved as soon as possible. I'll make sure to get you in here as quick as I possibly can, really. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoy. Should be a good event tonight. Coming up to the last 3 or so minutes of qualifying now. I have to admit, oh, there's a bit of contact there coming into the West Bend chicane there, and that is one thing to actually remember as well, is we are on the West Bend chicane layout today, so this is the one that seemed to be primarily voted for by the drivers, so this is the one we have gone for. And well, Mr. Dan Mould, he wasn't too certain on actually racing tonight because he did have things to do, but that man has gritted his teeth and he's jumped out on track and joined us tonight, which is nice to see. I think we just have Robert Williams, who I don't know if he's in the session still anymore, but Mr. Robert Williams was a part of this session and now I don't think is with us. So at the minute we do have 16 cars out on track though, so 16 cars it is to race. Oh, okay, Toxic Munchkin, interesting information there, so it's not just ovals. That's very interesting information, good information to know actually. I thought I'd seen these somewhere before, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it, or on where, should I say. But what a lineup we do have tonight. We have 16 of these wonderful little cars going around what is quite a small track, in all fairness. So there's plenty of room for overtakes and close racing, but there's not much room for error here because, well, it doesn't take long for the whole pack to overtake you if you go off track. And some of these guys have said when doing their practice laps and pre-race qualifying laps as well, I've had a message or two through saying that the uphill is going to be the most trickiest bit. As we see Dan Morrow coming into that section now, it's up here that is going to be the problem for some of the drivers. They do say that you can get a bit too much grass. We saw Dan Morrow kind of cut across it, then didn't seem to have too many issues as he goes around the West Bend chicane now, going through into the final turn, final right-hander before out onto the home straight. But at the end of the day, you know, if it's going to be difficult on the uphill, that's what you've got to focus on, and well, that just brings more entertainment for us, really. Stunt driver has one, checks up while doing donuts and takes the wheel off. Oh, okay. That is something I might have to do a bit of research on after this broadcast and see what the deal is for that. But as it stands, Aaron Smith is still your leader for qualifying, and I think he's probably going to finish in the P1 position unless Patrick Thompson gets out and does another lap, but I think he may settle for P2. Dan Mould isn't able to better himself just yet, unfortunately. So he is still in P3. And, well, qualifying is just on the brink of its end. And there it is. It's pulled all the cars out. That is done. 12 minutes of qualifying is over. To bring your grid then, for race 1 is Aaron Smith, P1. Patrick Thompson, P2. Dan Mould, P3. Dan Wareham, P4. Jack Johns, P5. Craig Walters, P6. Alan McCain, P7, Deck Crowther, P8, Steve Woodcock, P9, Alex Longu, P10, sorry if I've butchered your name, Chris Barnes, P11, Kev Eilert, P12, and for the rest of the grid we have Stuart Gibbons, P13, Fraser Garrity, P14, Scott Kostrick, P15, Stuart Rice, P16, and Robert Williams, P17. So there is your grid, ladies and gentlemen. We'll bring everything up here. The battle box is looking awfully large, and I do apologise. We are using a standard overlay, as it seems, tonight, purely because I am having major technical difficulties tonight, so we are getting around that by doing this. So, there we go. We will just wait for the race to start. Evening, John, how's it going? Join us just in time for the race start. Decent grid, yeah, we do have... some decent numbers tonight, similar to the media day, which is always nice. And what we'll do is we'll focus on the lead car here, Mr. Aaron Smith, who's out in P1 as it stands. There we go. The lights are up at the top of your screens there. We'll just drop the battle box for this period of time. Wait for these cars to get underway. And they are off. Go, go, go. Aaron Smith getting a fantastic start off the line there as all these cars come rolling through for the first lap of race 1. It's the 20-minute race. And it seems like a long time in these cars, but I did speak to a couple of drivers and said, how long will the tyres last? And all they were telling me was, well, we're not going to pit stop. It be what it be. So we may see some sliding towards the end of the race, but so far, all these cars have got up nice and cleanly through turn 1, through all the way to turn sort of 4 and 5 at the minute. These guys getting into a battle at the minute. 3 cars involved. Dan Mould just at the back of the 3. there selected. Currently in P6, goes to the inside line, doesn't quite get it, but the driver just in front, Mr. Craig Walters, is under a bit of pressure there. What a fantastic selfie from Mr. Craig Walters in the bottom corner. He comes around with his dog sticking his tongue out on that livery there on the front. There's a bit of smoke on the right hand side of the screen there, not too sure what's going on there. It looks like Stuart Rice has dropped back a bit from the grid, and Scott Kostrick as well. Maybe there's been a bit of instance down there towards the end of the pack. Hopefully all is well and those guys are able to carry on. But as it stands at the moment, your leader Aaron Smith is out in front, 2 tenths clear, but there's not much between him and Patrick Thompson. This is battle for the lead. Dan Wareham is just in the background there in P3. There's not much really in it in terms of room for error, should we say. So these two really have to keep on top of it if they want to keep P1 and P2, because Dan Wareham, as you can see there, he is lurking in the background. There's a bit of loose ends behind him as well. Jack Johns has kind of got Dan Wareham and Dan Mould screaming in the background there. Sorry, I'm not too sure what I just said that. I said 2 Dans. That wasn't 2 Dans, it was Craig Walters, sorry, and Dan Mould, but it looks like Dan Wareham is falling down the grid. He's fallen out of P3, whilst I've stumbled on his name. He's stumbled on his tyres and gone onto the grass, and that's put him way down the grid now, in P11 as it stands. And there's gaps opening up across the field. You can see the back 3 or 4 cars now starting to spread out, and there's bigger gaps forming, and between Jack Johns and Patrick Thompson, there's a bit of a mighty gap as well as it stands. You can see the top 2 just leaving the picture there as these cars now come around into the no-name straight, which is the back straight, which is here. It is not fully straight. I will have to get on to someone about that, because it's a bit of an odd name for that area of track. Up the uphill, and now coming into the West Bend chicane, Dan Mould is looking to get the move once again done on Mr. Craig Walters, and he does so. He sticks it around the inside, goes on the outside, gets plugged by Craig Walters, and he's sent just into the wall, but his barrier's probably just stopped him a bit, and that might be the end for Dan Mould. I think, yep, that's probably the end for Dan Mould. He did say he had stuff to do, and I think that was probably the one thing that was like, that's my key to go finish off what I started. So Dan, if you have departed away from the race session, hope all is well, and hopefully you get everything done you need to get done. But at the minute, Aaron Smith and Patrick Thompson don't want to let off. They've got nothing on their mind, or no plans at all, apart from winning this race and getting the best start in terms of points. Aaron Smith being one of the latest arrivals into the league, so he is going to try and get up there in terms of points, and well, he would have taken it by storm. He wasn't here for media day. Same with Jack Johns up there in P3 as well. He was just in the start of the broadcast in the chat. He was like, oh, if I get in before the end of qualifying, I might have a chance, and he has got a chance. He's in P3 as it stands. I believe that is the same person. That is the Racing Line account that I was talking to earlier, so hopefully I haven't got that completely wrong at the minute. So yeah, these guys going around as it stands at the moment. The gap is extending for Aaron Smith on Patrick Thompson. Jack Johns just in behind. We've got some bark and dog liveries back here. Deck Crowther leads a group of cars. Craig Walters, Chris Barnes, Steve Woodcock, Alexander as well. All of those in behind Dex. P4 to P8 really all close together. And Stuart Gibbons just kind of tagging on just on the outside of the draft zone of Alexander there. Between P8 and P9, you can see him come around the corner just in the end. Let's jump on board with Stuart Gibbons, and it will really give you an idea of how sort of close yet far he is away from the people ahead. There's not really much you can see because of the low mirror, but you can see the cars just ahead there, so there's not much in it at all. They come round into the West Bend chicane, and all these cars that are packed together, something's got to give at some point. It's a Dumb and Dumber livery. Sorry. Okay, right. That's news to me. Sorry, I wasn't aware that that's what it's actually labelled as. So thank you very much, John, for letting me know about that. But there's the battle at the moment. Steve Woodcock gaining the position on Chris Barnes, and Chris Barnes, I think, was letting off down the straight a little bit there, or possibly got a bad exit going for the attack and actually slowed him down. But now he's got car number 15 on the back of him as it stands at the moment as well, which is Alexander. There's not much between those, but Chris Barnes is going straight back on the attack towards Steve Woodcock as it stands at the moment, as we get blinded by the trees. That Crowther gaining a bit of a gap now on those behind, and one gap that is certainly closing down will be between these two at the top. It's only, well, it was 2/10 when I went to jump on board with the battle, and it's risen up to 4, gone back down to 3, so there's definitely areas of the track where Patrick Thompson fancies his pace and is maybe just a little quicker than Aaron Smith, but Aaron Smith seems to have the consistency and majority of the track nailed, and it's enabling him to really keep that gap and almost extend it, if you like, as well. So good work from him. But Steve Woodcock has just lost the position to Christopher Barnes. Those are almost going to go side by side. Woodcock's gone in side by side with Alexander, I think that was, and he's gone off, unfortunately. So Woodcock has gone off into the barrier. Now, all of these people, even if they don't finish the race, so even Dan Mould in P17 as it stands, I believe, I don't think he's with us in the session anymore, but even someone like Dan Mould is currently earning points in P17. So all these guys will be earning points, but it's just a case of how many points they're going to come away with at the end of this race. Stuart Rice at the moment battling down in P13, trying to catch Steve Woodcock for P12. And, well, he might be in for a shout of doing that. He's got something to chase in front of him, and chasing does naturally make you a little quicker, as I've been told many times from many different people. So Stuart Rice will hopefully try and pounce on this. I believe he's also running a new setup today as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's using a direct drive setup, so he was really looking forward to that, and he's surprised about how good it felt and how much you can really handle the cars a bit better with low cell pedals. So Stuart Rice is looking forward to this race by the sounds of it from what I heard before as well. Unfortunate that we couldn't get everyone in the session tonight, but I'm sure the numbers will rise as the season goes on. There is definitely some good rounds yet to come. We've got the Radical. We have we have a couple of cars, actually, a couple of different cars. We've got the Mazda MX-5s, the Race 1600s, the Cadillac as well. Cadillac's in there, so there's varying cars, and these ones are probably the ones that stick out the most. They are the ones that are completely different from the rest of the pack. Robert Williams at the minute has gone off track, unfortunately, and he's currently versing to get back on the black stuff and carry on. But Robert Williams, like I said, is still going to be earning points down in P16. So it's maybe not the best start, or maybe not the start you wanted, but it's a start. You know, there will be points on the board for all these guys. So there's not really going to be a definite sort of gap form, should we say, throughout this season. I wouldn't have thought. If the numbers stay like this throughout the season, the championship will be tight, and the car's getting a bit squirrely there for Craig Walters. He's had to keep it in a drift, and well held. That's going to be a good photo opportunity later when I go through to do the photos for the session as well. And sorry, that was Deck Crowther. I can't give Craig the praise. Sorry, it's Deck Crowther that had a good drift. So Deck, hats off to you, sir. Fantastic drift. That'll be a lovely photo for the Blade Design livery there. But the Dumb and Dumber livery, as I've been corrected, it has made the move, and Craig Walters has made the move into P4. He's just outside the podium, but he's 6 seconds away from the podium, so he's got to focus on keeping Deck behind him, try and maximise his chance at these points as well. There's been some carnage a bit further down on the track, and well, just before the right-hander into the West Bend chicane, we've had a bit of an off-track there. I think it was Scott Kostrick is the one that I've got listed as the person that crashed then, unfortunately. So Robert Williams is having an absolute field day with this car tonight. I don't think he's he might still be enjoying it, but he might just be taken out for a lovely leisurely drift. So hopefully Rob is enjoying himself in that car tonight, as we're certainly enjoying what we're seeing so far up here in the booth. There's so many battles still going on. I'm actually quite surprised. I thought it would have been a lot more spread out than this. You know, there's not the whole field isn't battling each other, sure, but there's still a good couple of battles in there, and there's not much between Deck Crowther now and Craig Walters. Deck Crowther trying to put the chase on, and Deck is a very, very strong driver with some seriously good pace, so he will be trying to track down Craig and get past him as soon as possible. And we saw just how close that was then with only a 10th split in the two as they come round for lap 11 now. We've just gone past the halfway mark in this race, so that tells you how much can actually go on in a 20-minute race. As it stands, if Dan Mulder's not in the session, Mr. Robert Williams will be leading the pack out for race 2, and well saved there from Craig Waters and Deck Crowther. They both are pushing the car to its limit on that corner as they both almost turn into a full-on drift. I'm sure Chris Barnes sitting behind will be going, oh, sort of as Deck's getting the back end out, because I know he does like to have a little reaction during the races. We've heard it multiple times before. And, well, Fraser Garrity at the minute trying to catch up. And it looks like I've had a bit of carnage up top. Just the moment I switch away is just the moment that these two, I think, have collided with each other. That's not what we need to see. These two were having a good little chase and good little battle. Let's just have a look back. See what happened here. Oh, Craig Waters has gone up on the wall and Deck Crowther's just been crushed underneath. And they're both gone off track, unfortunately. Unfortunate result there. It was a good battle up until that point. They're going to keep going, though, which is good to see. Deck Crowther currently in P8, Craig Waters P6. They haven't lost a ton of positions, but that puts Chris Barnes up into P4. Dan Warren P5 now. And the closest battle is still going to be Deck Crowther and Craig Walters. These two will just not let it go. As it stands at the moment, Patrick Thompson is your race leader. He got in front of Aaron Smith and has managed to hold the lead and almost put a second. He has just now put a second between the two cars. There's another spin in the background there. Fraser Garrity, I believe on my reports, has just spun. So Fraser Garrity has gone around, and that's not going to be good for Fraser, unfortunately. But all those people that are slowly going towards the back of the grid due to incident or whatever the situation may be, they've got to look forward to race 2, because they will be at the front of the grid next time round. And well, it's not going to be easy for the top runners to make their moves to get back through the grid. I think, oh, Dex just made a beautiful move there on the West Bend chicane, gaining the position back Craig Waters, who had a good fast entry, but a bit too much, carried a bit too much momentum, had to really sort of bog down on the exit, and Deck Crowther made full use of that. And we've got Kev Eilert here in the very noticeable white, blue and yellow livery, car number 14 of Mr. Eilert, who comes across in P10 at the minute for lap 13. Patrick Thompson has just had a crash. I think he's carried on. You can see the smoke in the background, but Jack Johns, who joined the league very last minute, coming on the attack, coming on the inside. Show of a bit of defense there from Patrick, but nothing much. And these cars, wow, they did well not to touch there in the West Bend chicane. Patrick Thompson's fallen down to third as it stands at the moment. Not much splitting the two as it stands right now. You can see how close these cars still are. Well, they're the closest cars on the grid as it stands, but it seems like there's just been utter carnage around, well, just ahead of those two that we were watching just then. Kev Eilert has also gone off, I think, on the uphill. Deck Crowther is still going around just behind Steve Woodcock by about 2 seconds. The closest battle as it stands at the moment will be 6/10 between Patrick Thompson and Jack Johns. Jack Johns obviously being a latecomer, and he got in very last second, but well, I'm sure he'd be glad that he did get in very last second, because he'll be getting quite a lot of points for the start of the season. So if you want that trophy or cash prize towards the end of the season, which obviously the top 3 people within championship standards will get one, and there may well be a bonus prize, sorry, and a bonus trophy for I don't know, maybe there'll be a special thing for the whole grid to be involved in, a special prize. Haven't quite worked out exactly what it'll be for yet, but it'll be for something like maybe a most spectacular incident or spectacular something. So there will be something for everyone, so it's not just the top 3. So there will be a prize that anyone could potentially win. Now, we did see an interesting media day last week out, and well, we had multiple different cars on the track at once, and well, what an eventful race it was, but a great race it was as well. So it was nice to see. But these guys are making this 10 times better. These do look fun. They do, Toxic Munchkin, they do look incredibly fun. I am actually kind of jealous. It is my league, yes, but I'm kind of jealous that I'm not on track. I do kind of want to be a part of this, because it does look very tense indeed. At the moment, Fraser Garrity is putting the battle on here as he's chasing down Kev Eilert as it stands. And while he's not doing a bad job, he's closing up that time very well. On the West Bend chicane, we saw how close they were getting. But we're going to jump back to Jack Johns and Patrick Thompson. Because, well, what we'll do is we'll focus on Patrick, seeing as he is the attacker at the minute. He's trying to get past as quick as possible and not affect his pace too much in the car number 2 there, the black and white car of Mr. Patrick Thompson, who's been he's been coaching people recently and giving people coaching sessions, which is nice. So if you want to get some coaching done from Patrick, obviously feel free to DM him. I'm not too sure if it's paid or unpaid, or if this is something he's actually doing as a bit like a job. Not too sure, but reach out to him, see if he'll give you a hand, because at the minute he's 1/10 between these two of Jack Johns and Patrick Thompson, and he almost went to send it up the inside, didn't quite have what it took to stick his nose in the correct place, and this time he's going to look towards the outside of the West Bend chicane. Not going to get a bit of smoke there, maybe a car a little off track or a little drift going into the chicane, maybe a bit hot, and possibly Chris Barnes, who has a little red slide next to his name, who went off track but has returned back on according to the reports I have here in the booth. At the moment, Fraser Garrity still putting on the pressure, but again, 3/10 now split Patrick Thompson and Jack Johns. So these two are going to be battling it out for a little while, I suspect, because their pace seems to be very close together. So it'll be interesting to see if these two, or Aaron Smith, or maybe even Dan Wareham, can work their way through the grid in race 2. Full reverse grid, remember, so it's not going to be easy for these guys getting around past the entire pack. We've seen quite a few off tracks or spin outs incidents so far, and these guys did say the cars are going to be fun, and we all knew it was going to be a bit of carnage, and there's a bit of carnage there. Jack Johns goes round, spins in a full 360, carries on the uphill, but loses all that momentum. Patrick Thompson comes through then in P2. Jack Johns really needs to get that car moving, because Dan Wareham is 15 seconds down the road. 15 seconds sounds like a lot, but look at the momentum gain. That's instantly 6 seconds just gone in the moment of me saying that. And there we go, the time is closing. It's now 8.3, so that's almost halved in the time that we were just talking about that. But luckily Jack Johns is fully up to speed. Tyres are all clean again, and he's carrying on like a soldier now. And, well, Kev Eilert has crashed from what my reports are saying now as well. So there's quite a few off-tracks and things going on at the moment. Deck Crowther and Chris Barnes having a battle, and I've just jumped on, and Chris Barnes has sent it into a drift. Where did he go? Where did he go? Oh, I think he's gone. No, he's there. He's up the road. He's up the road. He's still going. 8.9 for style. What a drift Chris Barnes just had. It was shaping up to be a good little battle between those two. Oh, and it looks like we've had a bit of an off-track there for someone else as well. The US of A livery, by the looks of it. Who was that? Rob Williams, that's who it was. I knew I remembered the livery from somewhere. But we are in the last minute now, so I imagine that our race leader has gone round for his last lap, and Chris Barnes is really showing off. I think he's just having fun at this point. He knows he's sort of mid-pack. I think he's just trying to have a bit of fun before the end of the race. He's got time behind him, so he can do that. But he's looking to have some good photos probably for the end of this session, and when I go around to get him, I'll make sure to get some of these drifts for these cars, because they're going to make for some great photos. As Aaron Smith comes round up the uphill, almost gaining air as he came up the hill there and into the West Bend chicane. Now this is where the cars really do have to slow down, but car number 70 there for Aaron Smith gets around no problem at all, and he comes round the final turn, for which I believe should be the checkered flag. Hopefully I'm not mistaken. It is. There is your winner, Aaron Smith, coming across to get maximum points in race 1. Fantastic race there for Aaron Smith. Late comer into the league, but nevertheless he got the job done. Patrick Thompson coming across in P2. Chris Barnes coming in off of the wall there, P9. Jack Johns, a very late comer, joining just as qualifying was about to finish. Jack Johns finishing in P3 and starting it out with a lovely little drift there. So wonderful race from what we've seen so far from these guys. It was a bit of chaos and carnage, but it also was a bit of enjoyment as well there. So I hope you all did enjoy that first race. We do have a little bit of a 5-minute cooldown. We'll bring you your results in just a second. There we go. So we'll just wait for the last few cars to come around. Just had to quickly do a check. Just make sure that the audio and everything was coming through. Like I said, we did have a couple of issues earlier, so sorry for the slight delayed start. Just wait for the last car of Mr. Alan McCain come across the grid, and there he is, just coming across the line as we speak. So, boom. Let's go and grab the results then from race 1. Now, maximum points will go out to the boy who came in late into the league. Aaron Smith, the second, leads the championship technically from race 1. Anything can happen in race 2 because obviously it's a full reverse grid. So technically Dan Mould should be pole. Unsure if he's still in the session. But if he is, Dan Mould, if you can hear this, you are pole, sir, for race 2. But Aaron Smith is your winner for race 1. Patrick Thompson in P2 there, gaining that silver medal for race 1. I will give you a virtual one because we don't have the physical ones. But Jack Johns getting that bronze in P3 there, another latecomer into the league. So I'm sure those two, Aaron Smith and Jack Johns, will be happy that they jumped in last second, getting good points there. But Dan Wareham just outside the podium, unfortunately, in P4. But good results still for him. And Steve Woodcock in P5. Deck Crowther, after some fantastic drifting skills early in the race, came out P6 in the end. And, well, with a bit of an incident as well with Craig Walters. So he's done well to finish where he has. Stuart Rice had a quiet race to start with near the back, and then really clawed up the pace and clawed up the grid. P7. Alan McCain, P8. Chris Barnes, P9 after a couple of little slip-ups, but again, some fantastic drifting skills there. Kev Eilert in P10, ran off your top 10 there. So Fraser Garrity, P11. Alexander Longu in P12. Please tell me if I'm mispronouncing that name, because it could well be my horrific Norfolk voice. But Craig Walters is in P13. Robert Williams, P14. He looked like he was having fun with this car spinning around in circles. Stuart Gibbons, P15. Scott Kostrick, P16. And Dan Mould, P17. So your reverse grid will be in the opposite order to the names I just read out. So Dan Mould should be your pole sitter, but depending on if he's actually in the session, it will be Scott Kostrick leading out for race 2. So we will get rid of those results for now, and we will just wait for the warm-up to finish. Alan McCain, it's telling me, is coming out on track. Or is that Fraser Garrity? I think that's Fraser Garrity, actually. Fraser Garrity is coming out on track. There he goes. In the Lightning McQueen livery, taking it nice and slow around turn 1 there. Tyre wear really bad. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me in these. It's quite a long race for these cars, but remember, this is only for the first round. So this is the only time we are going to see these cars this season. So these guys just have one more race to deal with these tyres, these cars, and this setup. Hopefully they're all enjoying it at the minute as much as I am in the booth right now. It is absolutely fantastic to see turnout we have for this league as it stands. We do have more people in the Discord than we do on track, but that's always expected. If you want to get yourselves involved, I can't push it anymore. You know, come get yourselves involved. It's free entry. It's all for laugh, all for fun. Yeah, it's just a good thing to have on a Tuesday night. You know, a nice little race, and it's not fully serious either. So, and if you do happen to do very well throughout the season, whether it's luck or actual skill, then, well, the top 3 in the championship will earn cash prizes and trophies. So to list off said prizes, the P1 position for the championship, so the championship winner at the end of the 8 rounds, at the end of the season, will win a lovely trophy that has been decided or voted upon from the drivers itself. So, it's a lovely, I believe it's a glass trophy with few red highlights on there as well. Very nice looking thing. But they'll get one of those and they'll get £20, whether they want that sent over to them via PayPal or voucher is up to them. But there'll be £20 and a trophy for the race or championship winner. P2 will then get 15 and a trophy as well. So 15 in money form and trophy as well in P2. And then P3 will get £10 in money and then one trophy as well for them. And there's possibly a trophy going out to one member from the rest of the grid. I haven't thought of what it'll be for yet, but maybe it'll just be for the most attended races. So we will possibly send out a trophy for some other people in the grid. Maybe we'll see how it goes, but get yourselves involved. Anyone in your family, friends, or anything like that, get them in. It's all for a laugh. It's all nice to see. And well, at the end of this broadcast, as we wrap up the warm-up session, at the end of this broadcast, you will see a double wheel spin, and that will decide the car and track for the next round. So make sure you stay put for that one. Now, what we'll do is we will grab you your grid then for race 2. Dan Mould in pole position, Scott Kostrick P2, Stuart Gibbons P3, Rob Williams in P4, Craig Walters P5, Alexander P6, Fraser Garrity P7, Kev Eilert P8, Chris Barnes P9, Alan McCain P10, Stuart Rice P11, Deck Crowther P12, and for the rest of your grid you've got Steve Woodcock P13, Dan Wareham P14, Jack Johns P15, Patrick Thompson P16, Aaron Smith P17, and that is your full grid for race number 2. Now we will get ready to jump into this race. I don't think Dan Mould is with us. He isn't. The lights are up, so that means Scott Kostrick says it's P2, but he is currently leading this race. And can he get the best start? Oh, that was a good start from Stuart Gibbons though as well, and Craig Walters had a fantastic start as well. So good starts in all for all these drivers straight away. And Craig Walters looking to go up the inside there of Stuart Gibbons, and he's going to hold the inside line. Stuart Gibbons and Craig Walters side by side. Craig gets the advantage though. Stuart drops down a position, possibly loses 2, but he's going to have the inside advantage leading round into turn 4/5. And well, Scott Kostrick had a great start and managed to keep the lead of the race, and he's maintained a 3/10 gap as it stands. Daniel Wareham tyre wear really bad. Oh, okay, that's one thing to look out for then. We'll see what Wareham can do. Wareham currently P15, but as it stands, Craig Walters is tracking down that leader. 1/10 splits the two. I think Chris Barnes has just been absolutely wellied on the straight. He's gone into the wall. It looked like he spun a bit, possibly touched the grass on the uphill. Came across the track and got absolutely hammered. So Chris Barnes has fallen down to P16. 6 odd seconds behind the pack now, but the battle is for P1 and 2 at the minute, which seems to be, well, one of the tightest out there as it stands, and probably one of the most tense as well, because these guys do want maximum points. And yes, you know, you could have those absolute monsters of pacemen towards the back cruising up through the grid very soon. Patrick Thompson currently P9, Jack Johns already P5, so Jack Johns isn't that far away. He's tracking them down very quickly, so we could see some familiar faces back up near the top again. But as it stands, Craig Walters is doing everything he possibly can to track down the rust bucket of Scott Kostrick there in the lead, and Stuart Gibbons currently holding out P3. These guys are getting a bit of gap on Rob Williams, who's fallen a second behind now. He's going to have Jack Johns 7/10 just behind him. So there's a car going wide in the background. I think that is Fraser Garrity. That was Fraser Garrity. He manages to keep it on track though. He carries on going, but the battle still between the top two. Ultra close at the minute as Craig Walters looks to get the cut back onto the inside. Doesn't quite have the momentum to do so. And these guys still stay as they were at the start of the lap, but Craig Walters is insisting on taking the inside line. You can see how small these cars really are compared to this track, to be fair, as they go out wide there. Patrick Thompson going quick as the 1 minute 3.1 is the quickest car on the grid at the minute. Craig Walters has taken the lead though on the inside line. He's going to have the outside leading into the left-hander, but he's going to hold it, and he's going to get way in front of Scott Kostrick, already 5/10 away. Craig Walters could run away with it here if the other quick boys get delayed. I think the quickest one of the highest from the top 3 from race 1 is Jack Johns, who's currently P4, but whether he gets held up by P3 and P2 of Stuart Gibbons and Scott Kostrick is another question. If he does, then this could go well for Craig Walters, but it's still early doors, only 3 minutes in as it stands. There's still so much going on. Look at this battle as it stands at the minute. Fraser Garrity making a move on Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith got the comeback though, and managed to hold the position in the bright yellow there in the background of this battle. And we're looking at the Dumb Dumber livery, I believe, of Alexander there, fighting it out as car number 15. Trying to catch up to Robert Williams just ahead. Not much splitting the two at all. Look at that for a picture and a half. Opting for the inside line now. Doesn't quite have the momentum to do it. Gibbo lining them up too now. Yep, Gibbo is getting close to Scott Kostrick up the top there. And Aaron Smith has made the move on Alexander. And he's got around the outside. And through he goes. Car number 70 is now clawing his way up. Stuart Gibbons at the minute has dropped a position to Jack Johns. Stuart Gibbons and Deck Crowther. Now this is going to be an interesting battle. Two teammates repping the same livery, running through towards the West Bend chicane. Now are these two going to play nice, or are they going to treat this as an actual fun they can battle out? They are going to battle out side by side into the chicane, and Stuart Gibbons reminds Deck Crowther that he wants this position and he doesn't want to let go of it easily, so he gives him a little love tap, sends him a bit wide, ruins Deck Crowther's momentum leading out the chicane there, but Deck's going to try and get a comeback. He's opting for the inside line once again there. Jack Johns has made it up into P2, getting past Scott Kostrick. Had a little off track back there of, I believe it was Alexander, who's fallen down to P15 now, and yeah, I am right. Alexander did crash indeed, so he's fallen down unfortunately. Patrick Thompson has just made the move on Stuart Gibbons. Stuart Gibbons is now going to lose a position to Aaron Smith. Deck Crowther has got in front as well, so Deck did get the comeback on Stuart Gibbons. Stuart's slowly falling down the grid. He needs to get that pace in that car and get those tyres really working on that thing to try and gain some positions back as his teammate, well, goes very wide as he lets Aaron by, who's arguably the quickest in the session so far. So Aaron is going around like no end at the moment. He is the only person with the US flag, so whether some may say there's a little advantage there, some may not, but what a picture we have here. Look at all these cars as they come round, so close still between the two teammates there of Deck Crowther and Stuart Gibbons. 1 minute 2.9 is Patrick Thompson's time, and wow! Okay, Stuart Gibbons, sir, you need to brake for the corner. I think he lost his brake pedal and decided he wanted to taste the tyres instead. Let's just I'm assuming he just completely missed the brakes or locked up, possibly got sent. I think, yeah, he got sent. Okay, fair enough. So Stuart did hit the brakes, but unfortunately Lightning McQueen behind didn't. So Stuart Gibbons got sent into the wall there. So unfortunately for him, he's got a bit of damage, but it's the same damage that Deck Crowther had in race 1 as well. Walters will crash, just not into me this time, lols. So Craig Walters is predicted to crash from down there. Aaron Smith making a move around the outside of Scott Kostrick in his rust bucket there, who's on the inside line down the straight. Whether he's going to hold the momentum to make the move on Aaron Smith or not too sure, but he might if he gets the late braking in. There's probably too much of a gap. Aaron Smith closed that door nice and quickly, and there's no worries there. Tyre calling on the grass. Yeah, maybe that is what Stuart Gibbons is doing. He knows he's got the pace. We thought, yeah, I'll go for a drive on the grass and then we'll do my comeback drive later. We have got just under 15 minutes to go. Well, we've got around 13 now. So already we're closing down on the halfway mark in this race. And, well, what a race we've seen so far already. Patrick Thompson trying to put the pressure now down on Jack Johns. And, well, this is looking a bit more familiar now. Jack Johns, Patrick Thompson and Aaron Smith all battling it out as it stands. Well, Aaron Smith is trying to catch on to the battle, and it wouldn't surprise me if he gets there fairly soon, because that time is consistently going down each lap. And well, Craig Walters will have to worry soon. He's currently in the lead, but not by much. 1.2 seconds split the cars at the minute in P1 and P2. If Jack Johns and Patrick Thompson fight enough, they may lose too much time to the leader. Craig Walters just needs to keep a cool head and maintain his pace. He keeps it consistent enough. He doesn't get the win. He's certainly in for a shout on the podium, because there's quite a bit of time between him and Aaron Smith there, so he's definitely got a shout for podium if he can keep things calm and collected. Hopefully, by me going over that a couple of times, I haven't given it the commentator's coincidence and send him off track. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen, because that's the last thing we want to see. We've seen plenty of that tonight. We don't want to see any more. Patrick Thompson looking for the outside line round, going into the West Bend chicane now. Doesn't have anywhere near the momentum to get the move done on the racing line vehicle there. We had some smoke in the background. Don't think Fraser Garrity was involved, but that's just the car we've been sent to. Deck Crowther is coming around in 5th place. Once again, leading a pack of cars from Deck. It's from 5th to 10th. So he's leading an almighty pack behind him at the minute as well. So he's going to be a bit worried there, I imagine. Patrick Thompson trying to get the move done on Jack Johns, having the outside line round turn 1 and 2. Coming into turn 3 now. He's going to have the inside. He's going to have the advantage. Just gone quickest as well, I think, was Jack Johns. So they come around side by side. Now up the no-name straight, I believe it is known as. Even though I would kind of argue that this bit isn't a straight, but that's what I've been shown. Patrick Thompson having a little bit of contact there with Jack Johns, which affects Jack Johns' pace and momentum going up the hill there. And while Aaron Smith is now tagging on to the back of Jack Johns, so I'm sure he won't be overly pleased with that from Patrick, but I'm sure there was no malicious intent there at all. But they're going to start tracking down Craig Walters now. There's not much time between them. Craig Walters has lost 2 tenths to Patrick Thompson now, so car number 2 in P2 is tracking him down. Now it's within a second. So it's within the next lap or two. Things could get a bit tight and a bit hairy for Craig Walters. He's done a 1 minute 3.8. Patrick Thompson done a 1 minute 3.7. Jack John's done a 1 minute 4. 1 minute 5 for Aaron as well. 1 minute 4s are quite common across the grid by the looks of things. Dan Wareham splitting up with a 1 minute 5 there. So there's definitely a little bit of variation in the lap times, but also it keeps them fairly close in these cars, which is nice to see. I believe there is 5 gears to choose from in these vehicles. I have to admit, haven't raced these much. I've done a little bit of practice for a laugh on Red Bull Ring with these, and that was, well, quite enjoyable, I have to say. It kept things nice and close, given the cars' similarities, or well, being identical, shall I say, to each other. But we've got battles of 2 against 2 here. Craig Walters, Patrick Thompson at the minute battling for P1 and P2. Jack Johns and Aaron Smith battling for P3 and P4. Patrick Thompson, he's not far away from making that move. He's going to have the inside line. Whether he can hold it now through turn 1. He's going to have the inside. He's going to go a bit later on the brakes. He's going to get his car clean through. He's going to have the position. Craig Walters instantly trying to get on the power. You can see he's sliding the back end up there, having to counter steer a couple of times through turn 2 there. So Craig Walters, that is going to slow you down a bit, sir. So you may have the cars knocking on the door behind now. Let's have a little look back here. Jack Johns, look, just up the road is Craig Walters. You can really see between these 4 how close it truly is. Our chopper's done a fantastic job of keeping all these guys in the frame, but also Steve Woodcock at the minute. Look at this pack of 4. Kostrick at the front in the rust bucket. Woodcock just behind in the green and green car. Fraser Garrity, Lightning McQueen back there as well, with Dan Wareham just in the background with a monster truck looking livery. So these guys are going to go side by side in the West Bend chicane. There's contact there, definite contact between the 2 cars. It's going to slow both of them down, but I think only one car is going to come away with a slowdown from that, unfortunately. But both will have times 4x. There's no penalty limit in terms of instant points here, but these 4 are going to keep close once again still, and the battle between these 3 at the top is getting very tense now. A little bit of an off track there, I think, for Patrick Thompson. There's a bit of smoke, so possibly sent it into a bit of a drift. Craig Walters is doing well to hold the inside line, almost going 3 wide these cars then if Aaron had pushed up a bit more, but luckily they didn't, because I think they would have spelt carnage. But Craig Walters has held his position against the attacks. I don't know if he's gone on the brakes a bit there and trying to optimize the bumper bar on the back of that vehicle, but it looked like his car bogged down a bit on the straight there, which is a bit odd. But Jack Johns is going to go for the inside line. He's opting for the inside. He's going to take it side by side, leaning into the chicane. Craig is going to let him by. It's probably the safest thing to do, sir. There we go. You don't want to have any spin outs or anything now. The car's behind are way too close. Aaron is going to try and get by, try and take the outside line. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, as they come around now for lap 13 as the leader comes across the line there. And here we go. These three coming into turn 1. Well, Craig Walters is doing well to hold his lines at the minute. Aaron almost going off track there, trying to keep away from the car of Craig Walters. And, well, it's putting these two very close together. Jack Johns is going to try and track down the leader. He's got a bit of a job on his hands to do that, but at the minute, battle seems to be between Aaron Smith and Craig Walters. Oh, no, Craig has gone wide and he's hit the wall. He's hit the wall. He's gone off. He's spun himself, I think. No matter where we look, we seem to can't get a decent view. He's kept on going though, so he must have spun himself back on the track. But he has collided with the wall and lost a couple of positions there. He's lost one to Deck Crowther, who's in P4 currently. Good position for Deck Crowther as it stands at the moment. P4 overall, not too bad whatsoever. Craig Walters is closing though, just behind. Backing off a little bit now as the times go back up again. But as it stands, Patrick Thompson is your race leader. Jack Johns P2, Aaron Smith P3. 6 tenths between Jack Johns and Aaron Smith, so close between those two. Steve Woodcock is still doing a hell of a job at the moment in P8 there. He's not let down Wareham out of his sights at all. These guys have been close. They were in that group of 4, and it's still a group of 4, but the gaps are a bit wider. Scott Kostrick's just over a second behind, so it's more like a group of 3 now. Steve Woodcock is on the back of this group. You have Lightning McQueen leading it there is in Fraser Garrity, who's in P6. Car number 16. Lightning McQueen livery. I think that is, as Dan Mould kindly reminded me of the name, I think it was the Gravedigger livery lookalike, I would say, for car number 4 there of Dan Wareham. Very nice looking livery, I have to say, sir. Probably takes livery of the day for me. Close to the Dumber and Dumber one though. I do quite like that. But he's... Oh, there's a car off in the background. Scott Kostrick in the rust bucket. Car number 13. He's gone off and into the wall. Scott Kostrick is probably going to fall down a position or 2. Maybe not, actually. There's half a second between him and Alexander. So maybe he will get away with that one. But he really does need to try and keep that car on track now. Keep it going to the end of the race. There's not long to go. 5 minutes remain for this race 2. And, well, every point matters. It is the start of the season, so nothing's decided yet, by all means. But it doesn't mean, you know, you don't want to sort of just hold off and not worry about it till later in the season. You want every point you can get an early advantage, get as high as you possibly can, as early as you can. So you can lay off a bit more. Or, well, we all know that there's different cars throughout the season, different tracks, so... If there's going to be... Oh, what a drift there from Steve Woodcock in P8 in car number 8. But if there is going to be a round of a car that you don't like, then you don't have to worry too much about the points, and you don't have to worry about coming first. Steve Woodcock really pushing that car to its limits in the background. But that is the main thing these guys need to do. If they're enjoying themselves at the minute, they need to get every point they possibly can. Bit of an off-track there for, I think that's Kev Eilert at the moment. Oh no, Fraser Garrity has gone around as well. Fraser Garrity on the exit of the West Bend chicane, and through comes Alan McCain past Fraser Garrity, who's also in the same livery. I believe those two are absolutely identical, apart from their car number. I believe they are exactly the same. Scott Kostrick coming down the hill now, but Aaron Smith is within 1/10 or 2/10, sorry, of the car ahead of Jack Johns in the racing line livery there. Jack Johns being a latecomer, and same with Aaron Smith. So the two latecomers are battling it out as it stands at the moment. Whether they're here just for the single round or for the season, I will not know. But hopefully they will be here for the whole season. Stuart Gibbons has jumped to the pits, unfortunately, so hopefully all is well with Stuart Gibbons. Luckily, it's not too hot in the United Kingdom today, so hopefully these drivers aren't getting too hot behind their rigs and setups. But as it stands, your race winner, or race leader, sorry, not winner, it's not confirmed yet, I need to calm down, but Patrick Thompson is leading the second race there. 17 minutes in out of the 20, still 3 to go. Not long though for these guys to get the move done in the top 3, and there's going to be a bit of contact there. I believe there is. Stuart Rice has crashed. I think there was a bit of contact between him and Jack Johns. I think Jack Johns has probably had a little bit of a cheeky tap on the corner there just to keep the battle going. Just to keep the battle close between these two. I think that was possibly what happened. Let's have a little look at what happened here then. We can find the right one. Here we go. So it's, of course, it's in the slow motion on the straight, but we get plenty of time to focus on the correct car. So in comes Stuart Rice then into the corner. Jack Johns on the back corner. Does he give him a little tap? Yeah, he does. Yeah, and unfortunately Stuart has lost the car, and at that point you are just a passenger. So unfortunate there for Stuart Rice, but Aaron Smith has made the move on Jack Johns while we were watching the replay, and he's made it up into P2. Jack Johns is going to keep the fight on, though, as it stands, and only 1/10 split in the two cars there for the top two. Car number 70, though, is in P2 as it stands. He's gained that position, and he's going to do everything he possibly can to hold it. Alan McCain currently taken the fight to Mr. Craig Walters, who seems to have gone with the weight reduction tactic and removed the bonnet of his car. So he's gone for the weight reduction, but he hasn't gone for the inside line. Alan McCain comes round the inside line and gets his car clean past, and will have the right of way leading into the next turn down the no-name straight. So maybe opted for the weight reduction technique for Craig Walters there, but unfortunately left the door open for Alan McCain to pounce, and pounce he did as he gains the position and moves up into P7 for Mr. McCain in the Lightning McQueen livery. So fantastic stuff from him. I mean, Dan Mould, he's certain, you know, he's not with us unfortunately after the earlier incident in race 1, but I tell you what, he may not be in the top of the table as it stands at the moment. He's still got points though. P17, I believe it's the top, I think it's the top 20 or top 25 that earn points, so still points for everyone on the board as it stands. And even if we have a few more people join for next round, there's still going to be points on the board for everyone, so everyone still has a chance to gain something out of this season. But the person that's trying to gain at the moment 4/10 is what he's trying to get on Chris Barnes just up ahead, and you can see Aaron Smith just ahead of Chris Barnes. So these cars have just been lapped here, but the bright yellow car of Aaron Smith just ahead. It looks like Scott Kostrick, unfortunately, in his rust wagon is off on the edge of the track, and these cars are coming around, I believe, for what is the final time now. Patrick Thompson, your race leader for the second race of the evening and the final race of the evening, as he swerves left to right, he comes across, and that confirms it for me as a commentator as well. That is your race winner. There we go, Jack Johns P2, Aaron Smith coming out in P3 in the end, and well, in come the donuts for everyone. These guys seem to love these cars tonight, so it's good to see that these guys enjoyed a bit of bumper kissing going on down there as well. But hopefully all you guys did enjoy at home, and wow, what a collision that was. We'll get your results in just a moment then, as we wait for the final cars to come across the line. But what a fantastic feature race we just got treated to there. So let's bring your points then for the feature race, which was Patrick Thompson sees the checkered flag in P1. Jack Johns finishes P2. Aaron Smith P3. Deck Crowther just missing out on the podium in P4. Dan Wareham P5. Alan McCain P6. Steve Woodcock P7. Craig Walters P8. Fraser Garrity P9. Robert Williams P10. Chris Barnes P11, Kev Eilert P12, Alexander Longyu P13, Stuart Rice P14, Scott Kostrick P15, Stuart Gibbons P16, and Dan Mould rounding off your grid in P17. So there is all 17 cars, ladies and gentlemen. That is how it ended for the second race. Now, what a couple of races. Yes, what a couple of races indeed. Some fantastic races there. You know, it was a good event for the top three, who all finished in the top three, both race 1 and 2. Very good pace from those guys there. John, very entertaining. That was very entertaining. This is just the first round though. There's still many more points on the board. So here it goes then, the moment of truth. I know the drivers are all waiting and watching at the minute, thanks to Mr. Stuart Rice. So I think I will now bring you what we are waiting for in terms of the wheel spins for the next round. So let me bring it up here then for you. So we will do the tracks first. the track for round number 2 will be Virginia International Raceway. So Virginia International Raceway wins the draw for round 2. Now the car, this will be the interesting factor, and hopefully everyone approves of whatever comes out of this spin. But we'll spin it. So this is for the race in 2 weeks' time. Remember, there is a 2-week gap now between this round and the next one. And, well, there we go. A lot of people are saying they're looking forward to the Radicals, and the Radical it is. So the Radical SR8 at Virginia International Raceway. You've seen it here first, folks, in the JPB Broadcasting channel. We have our round 2 set in stone there. Radicals around Virginia. 2 weeks' time from today, there will be some practice sessions up for the drivers if they need them in between the 2 weeks apart, but we do have that coming up soon. So in 2 weeks' time, we take to Virginia with the Radicals. Looking forward to that. Again, it's probably going to be some close racing for round 2, but we'll get the points all updated tonight as well, and or tomorrow, and we'll get the championship standings for you. Remember, the top 3 will earn possibly a trophy, or they will earn a trophy and some cash as well, and there is going to be a prize for a lucky member from the rest of the grid that aren't within the top 3. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. That has been all from me in the booth, though. Today has been absolute fantastic racing, and once again, thank you to every single driver that turned out today, and thank you to all those that did watch in the broadcast as well. So many thanks goes out to everyone that was involved tonight. Thank you all for your support. Make sure you show some love and support to the JPB YouTube channel. But from me, that is all that tonight is going to bring. So hope to see you all again next time we are here on the JPB YouTube channel. We do have the GT4s, I believe, tomorrow. But in 2 weeks' time, we will be back here for the FRCC round 2. And we'll look forward to seeing you then. But until then, have a safe week and goodbye.